I'm so excited to be here with you. When I first started my YouTube channel, before that I saw the movie The Internship in like 2013, and my dream job was to work at Google. So this feels like a really full circle moment. Thank you so much.
Well, you're close to where the Google headquarters is.
Yes,
so,
this
yeah.
is crazy. Yeah, we did a tour yesterday, and we saw like all these incredible venues and like the mini kitchens, this collaborative culture, which I think was a really big thing pre-COVID. How have you guys kind of looked at being like the pioneer of like this hybrid work model? Because I think before COVID, you guys were like the pioneer, like you're it, and now you're getting back a little bit, but what do you think the future is gonna look like with work?
No, it's such a good question. There are people who, like I got an email from someone yesterday saying they went for a run around the same loop they always run, and it felt so good to be back. Yeah. And I think people do need those connections, but what we are embracing is flexibility. Mm-hmm. I think people have gotten used to a more flexible life. And I think in it is, as Google, one of the things we have trusted our employees. We've given them a lot of agency. And so we want to give them the flexibility so that you're not too stressed if you have a doctor appointment or you have to show up at your kid's parents' conference or whatever it is. But we expect people to come, 3 days a week, but we'll be flexible overall. And I think it's exciting, so we can rethink our workspaces a bit. Make sure when people are coming together, it is more meaningful. You're actually coming to spend time and connect with people too. So that's the opportunity.
Are you in the office now, like full time?
Well, not full time. I'm taking advantage of the flexible thing which I announced. So, but I'm coming in about 3 days a week. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And so, what do you think? Like, what activities are good in person that you maybe can't replicate online?
Oh, I mean, just going to the cafe,
grabbing
food and sitting outside. And then suddenly somebody from some other team comes and joins, and then talking to people about what they are working or even their life. I think that serendipitous, meandering stuff which you end up discovering. Yeah. I think it's so much tougher to do that over video, for sure. And also, if you're rolling up your sleeves and brainstorming and working, I think for sure.
I think there's like a huge intangible happiness increase by just being with people, which we kind of experienced today at I/O, the first one back. What was that like for you, like with the live audience, being back in person?
Yeah, I mean, I got a bit surprised on stage the first time people applauded because I lost that sense for about 2 to 3 years. And so, it took me a while to kind of work my way through. I felt like I'm readjusting back to the real world.
Yeah.
It's nice, the energy you feel. And, I think many people feel that too. And you can see people are enjoying being back. So hopefully we all can build on it and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and so you guys announced, you give an early look at the Pixel 7, and then we have the 6a, the Pixel Watch. I feel like we're really moving towards like this bigger ecosystem build. How do you look at Google's building the ecosystem? I feel like you're in a really unique spot with being like an Android, like giving Android to a lot of other OEMs, and they're all building their own ecosystems. How do you think Google differentiates like the Pixel ecosystem from like just Android as a whole?
The power of Android is people can take it in many different directions, right? And so it makes it flexible. What I'm excited about Google doing hardware is we get to express our view, end-to-end view on how we want that experience to work. And if you think about our vision of, we want to make sure devices kind of are seamlessly working together, there to help you, not get in the way, so that you're not dealing with things, trying to fix things. To do that well, you need to have an end-to-end view, and that's what we are doing. So for me, this has been a long journey, but to see a whole portfolio of products, being able to put it together and make sure they're all working together, a phone, a watch, a tablet, and underneath all that is AI and working across. And the fact we are investing all the way down to our own silicon, which now will work across all our products.
Wow.
I think it's just a big opportunity.
Yeah, so speaking of AI, I think that's one of the things that you've really like brought to the forefront when you became CEO. And one of the things I really admire about you is how you've done it in like a really ethical way, and you kind of think about what the adverse effects could be of introducing AI. There was so much AI today, from like the Google Translate to the glasses, that I think are going to like change people's lives if they come to fruition with the live translate. What AI projects do you feel like aren't covered enough but are like really exciting that you're stoked to be working on?
At the core, the essence of what you're seeing is making sure computers can like understand the world around the way humans do, be able to see things, look, hear things, and get context. That's hard for computers to do, so that's what a lot of the AI work we are doing is. We spoke a little bit about language models today, and they are getting more capable. We have a lot of important areas to work through, but the potential of that is what we tried to show, right? The fact that you in your hands can have access to something
So cool.
which is knowledgeable on any topic, or can imagine with you, learn new things. I think that there is so much potential on that. So that's something I think is not often talked about, but it's an exciting part of what we are working on.
Yeah, I went to a press briefing with you guys a few weeks ago, and it was talking a lot about like the flood detection and how many lives and like people that is really saved. And I think when people think of Google, they think like search and Android and Docs and like all these things that really affect our lives. But there's so many other things that you guys are working on. Even Street View just had their 15-year anniversary. That project has completely changed the world. Is there something with Maps and Street View that you're still expanding with? Because today in the briefing you talked a little bit about Africa.
Yeah, well, two things. First of all, we're bringing immersive view in Maps. So I think the real power of like thinking about a place, seeing it as you would see it in real life, including checking the inside of a hotel or a restaurant out anytime you want, I think is going to be very powerful. And again, that in the context of a different form factor in the future is the real potential of what we are building.
What do you mean?
Like in the AR glasses, having that access to an immersive view, so that if you're looking at a place, you're looking at a restaurant, and if you want to, you can say what the inside of it looks like, or what the menu is, and I think shows the power of all this. But you brought up an important point, which is access. We want to make sure this all works everywhere in the world, which is why we're mapping buildings in Africa, using AI to map it better, creating a data set, opening up that data set, including to organizations like World Bank and United Nations, so that they can do important work with it. So all that is part of the work we are doing.
How do you approach like what AI you like really work on and what doesn't maybe come to fruition? Because I'm sure people pitch you like a lot of different projects. Like Magic Eraser, I think, is one that like makes complete sense and it's worked really well. And then yesterday on our tour, there was Google Lens, where we saw a robot in one of the spots and we're like, what is this? And it immediately came up. How do you kind of figure out what projects are the most meaningful with the AI?
I mean, the test I use is this, if by creating a feature with this, is it going to be helpful? I think about it 4 dimensions. Is it going to help people improve their knowledge, success, health, or happiness?
Okay.
If it fits one of those 4 attributes, I think it's good to do. So that's kind of how I think about it. Okay. And if I feel it's not doing any of that, I would question as to why we are adding that.
Yeah.
But that's the bar with which we think about everything we do.
And I think globally too, you've talked in the past about like your moonshot goal of being carbon free by 2030. How do you approach like climate change and all the other things as like a giant corporation? And I watched an interview that you did with Stanford, and you were talking about how a lot of the times like you'll approach a project if you think that Google could be the right fit and kind of advance it. How do you look at like being carbon free?
Oh, it's the most important thing. I think we could be working on. I think your generation is going to hold all of us accountable.
I hope so, yeah.
If we don't make progress there, and as a company, we bet on wind and solar early, and over 10 years, it's become more mainstream. To really run 24/7 carbon-free everywhere in the world, we have to solve this everywhere. Look at new sources of energy. We now have a data center with geothermal. We are looking at technologies like carbon capture. And so remember, we cannot do it with offsets. This is to say 24/7, every search you do, every YouTube video, every Gmail, works carbon free. And so that's a big goal.
Yeah.
But as a technologist, I'm excited because that allows us to invest, develop new technologies, which can then make its way into the world. Yeah. And sustainability is something in which, I think we want to make sure we're bringing all our resources as a company to make a difference.
Yeah. You're like just so incredibly impressive, and today's Google I/O was amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I'm inspired by your story. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jacklyn.
Yeah, you're so great.
Thank you.
So much.